Hey there, welcome back to Seymour Overland. Well, we're in the throes of the holiday season, halfway between Christmas and New Year's. We have a beautiful day. It's cleared up after some rain, which means some really good snow up in the mountains. In the very near future, we'll get some good turns up there. But today we're again visiting essentially my backyard in West Marin County. I thought it would be a great opportunity to go out to Point Reyes, which is a national seashore, the site of the San Andreas Fault, or one of many sites of the San Andreas Fault, and some really beautiful preserved acreage that truly does represent West Marin and the California coastline. For Christmas, my big gift from the jolly old fellow is a GoPro Hero 7 Black. I am really excited to try and use it today. So we are on our way. It's about 11 o'clock on a Friday, so the road shouldn't be too crowded. And we have packed along a delicious lunch, and we'll be out there in about an hour. As you can see, the rain has really done a great job with the fields and pastures out here in West Marin. They're nice and bright green, and I can tell you that those are some really happy cows. On our way out to the beaches, we will pass through the small town of Tamales, which sits on Tamales Bay in the estuary out here. It's absolutely beautiful, wonderful place to come and sea kayak, if you will. And in the evenings, you can actually do bioluminescent tours with the algae that light up at night through the agitation of the paddles. It's really cool. Tamales is also home to Hog Island Oyster Company, where the most delicious oysters on the planet are harvested. There used to be another farm called Drake's Bay. However, that was located directly in Point Reyes National Seashore. It was one of the only viable businesses actually allowed into the national park, and it lost its easement several years ago after a rather spirited battle with the Secretary of the Interior. Therefore, Hog Island is now the only oyster company here, and as a result, actually, the cost of oysters has skyrocketed to about $3 a pop. We're headed now down toward Lynn Tower Beach and Drake's Estrero. Had we stayed straight and gone to the right, we could have gone through to Tamales Bay State Park, as well as all the way out essentially to what's called Tamales Point. And out there, which will be the subject of another video, is about a 10-mile round-trip hike through an elk preserve, and it is absolutely stunningly beautiful when the wildflowers are in bloom. So here we are at Drake's Estrero Road, and I'm going to take this opportunity to jump out of my car. I am going to try my luck at this little GoPro and its suction cup mount, and we'll see how that goes. I'm a little nervous. I don't want to lose my camera at my first time out, so we'll keep an eye out and just see what we get from it. Now, typically, what I do is I flip over to the GoPro app at this point, so I think that's what I'm going to try and do. Once we get up and around this corner here, that way at least I'll know if we lose it, maybe over these cattle grates. I can't seem to get the app to work, and I don't want to disrupt it too much, so I'm just hoping for the best. But here you can see off in the distance, you can begin to see the Estrero and what we're coming up to. So we're going to try this little experiment one more time. It appeared I didn't have the mount quite as tight to the camera as I thought, and I think at some point it switched out. So we are passing through what is known as the historic F Ranch. It was established in 1852. Behind us is Drake's Estrero, and directly ahead of us is what's called North Beach. And these are this is basically the northern access point, that's the name, of about 8 to 10 miles of unobstructed beach that would stretch all the way, almost all the way from the Elk Preserve all the way down to the lighthouse. Here we are at North Beach, and I am eager to try my hand at using the GoPro here. And so I'm switching mounts. I'm doing the triple mount. And I think what I'm going to do beforehand, it's a little after 12 o'clock. I'm kind of hungry, so I think I'm going to grab half a sandwich and perhaps a beverage before we head out. So I've got the ocean behind me, and you can see a lot of what are called ice plants, which line the dunes here and keep them pretty much intact. And for lunch, I am going to indulge in a ham and cheese sandwich from my local market. And one of the benefits of living in the North Bay is our proximity to the Russian River Brewing Company. Now, as you guys probably know, the Bay Area is filled with all kinds of artisan brew houses, and everything from Blue Bottle Brewery to Lagunitas to Anchor Steam and Russian River. And the Russian River, and having proximity to that, gives me access to Pliny the Elder, which is a fantastic beer, loved by everybody that drinks beer, and in fact can only be purchased on certain days in certain places at certain times. And then once a year, Russian River developed something called Pliny the Younger, which can only be purchased at the Russian River Brewhouse, and people line up around the block for it. So here we go. Cheers. Oh, that's delicious. So, I just want you to know, it's ham with a little mayo and mustard on a sourdough roll with lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, and some Swiss cheese. And I can tell you that it is absolutely the bomb. I won't gross you out by eating in front of you. I'm not that kind of a guy. So, next thing we'll do is we'll take a hike down the beach and play around with the GoPro. Many of you, when seeing the surf, might wonder whether it's swimmable. And I can tell you that while it's not illegal, they're certainly trying to dissuade you. I think I'll stick with my Pliny. And there's the beach. All the way down at the very end is Tomales Point, and that's where, again, the Elk Preserve I've talked about before is. And then we swing southward. You'll see there are a few people out there playing in the water. All the way down, and to that far point down there is where the lighthouse resides. This entire beach is wide open. It's really, really cool. So let's take a walk. On this walk, I'm going to stick with the dunes because it might be a little bit more interesting, and just see what different things we can do with the GoPro. Am I too close? Am I too far? I don't know anything about this camera, really. I have watched a number of instructional videos on it, but I think the best way to figure it out is just simply to experiment and use it. I want to do a nice shot of my Pliny with a great background. See how that works. I didn't bring my Rode microphone with me on my walk here, which I probably would in the future for sort of on-the-go vlogging. I also have my Nikon D80, which for all of you is a very old camera, probably 10 years old, and it's great for still shots and for my photo albums that I put together, but certainly not vlogging material because it can't shoot video. So with the largesse of Santa Claus and my GoPro and my iPhone and my Rode microphone, what I need now is to figure out how to use all this stuff appropriately and make interesting content for all of you. And hopefully I'll get better and better at that. But only you guys will be able to tell me. Quite candidly, you can see probably behind me or off to my right that the tides are starting to come in a little bit. So I thought it best I get up and get moving lest I get soaking wet, like right now. Ooh. Well, that was super fun at North Beach, playing around with the GoPro. I hope I got a little bit of footage with respect to my first day out, and you know what? It's okay if I didn't. I'm sure that I'm going to learn a lot when I go back and see the results of the filming. Now we're going to head, I don't know, somewhere different and just go see what we can find. Now, this looks kind of cool. So we're headed south. To our left, to our right is South Beach and the lighthouse. South is obviously a lot of cows, but also the southern coastline headed back toward Marin County and into San Francisco. And then to our left is more of the Marin Headlands and heading out toward Tamales Bay, etc. This is called Drake's Beach. We'll see what we have in store. This looks actually really kind of cool. So here we are at Drake's Beach. This is the other side of the peninsula, if you will, and it looks like there's some really nicely shaped waves coming in. There are a few seals way out there. I'm not sure whether you can see them. And we have a single solitary surfer that seems to be ready to hit the waves and see what he comes up with. But if we swing down this way, we're headed again toward the lighthouse. And then if we swing down this way, we're actually headed toward those cliffs and those folks. And that down there, if memory serves, is Lemon Tower Beach. So here we are. Look at those cliffs. But just spectacular out there. Holy cow. And gotta walk up here. Make sure we don't get our feet wet. I'll be curious to see how much capacity I actually do have here. We got a nice family out enjoying the point. I'll let them enjoy their moment, and we'll just keep walking on down here. Absolutely unbelievable. So I have to say, I think this is kind of why I'm inspired by this whole concept of overlanding. Number one, it gets me out. It gets me out of the house. It gets me out in my backyard. It gets me to places like this that for years I take advantage of, but I also take for granted. And I think as I improve, I am going to love the opportunity to tell stories and share some of the sites that I like to explore, some of the adventures that I like to undertake. Look at that wave right there. Oh, look at that. Look at that, all the way down. Look at these cliffs. And that bird. This is what it's all about. This is exactly what it's all about. Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'd rather show you all that stuff than my nose. I'm sure you prefer to see all this stuff than my nose. It's always interesting to see what you might find on the beach too. I mean, here is an enormous piece of lumber, and I bet you if we called that number 530-241-2085, we'd probably come up with where that came from. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I should have brought another piney down here. Wow. This is the kind of stuff that I just dig. Oh, look at that wave. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just peeling away. All right. So heading back from Drake's Beach, it happened that we ran into a small herd of elk. Grabbed a couple of shots of a few of them. Well, I think that's going to do it for our inaugural journey into Point Reyes National Seashore. Sorry, one more spot that we have to go check out, and it's called Mount Vision Road. I have no idea what's up this road. They don't recommend trailers or RVs. I think to top off our trip to Point Reyes National Seashore and our maiden voyage of the GoPro Hero 7, I thought I'd come down this trail just a little bit and give you somewhat of a panoramic view looking east over Tomales Bay, the town of Inverness, and off back into California. Absolutely beautiful. Just can't go wrong with that. And with that, I think we will punctuate our trip. Thanks so much. Again, thank you for joining us at Seymour Overland. I look forward to producing many more of these. And as we expand our repertoire of gear and equipment, we'll also seek out other extraordinary spots for all of us to enjoy a little bit of adventure. See you later.